The white stag is real, and it needs new vintage glasses. This is Portland. Hello, listeners. As you all know, the Portland City Water Bureau announced the existence of E. coli in our drinking water last weekend. Fortunately, the threat was called off approximately 23 seconds after local groceries had run out of that unnecessary surplus of bottled water they had been struggling with. The E. coli was gone, or so we thought. Speaking today from the hidden volcano operation room beneath Mount Tabor Reservoir, a spokeswoman for the Bureau announced that the E. coli had not been vanquished, but had disappeared. Quite literally, the E. coli had turned invisible, and was not, in fact, E. coli anymore. While the steady drip of water and month-old milk echoed around her, the Bureau spokeswoman announced that the E. coli had mutated into a virulent strain of F. coli, renowned for its invisibility properties as well as its passive-aggressive nature. Take it from me, listeners, you do not want to friend F. coli on Facebook. I roomed with the strain for a short while, or more accurately, the strain roomed in me, and while it was an unsurprisingly gross experience, it was not a wholly unpleasant one, so I thought keeping in touch with it through Facebook might be nice. I was so wrong. Firstly, it incessantly used that inane poke function that no one's even noticed since 2009. But more importantly, if I ever went just one day without digitally acknowledging its existence, it would fill my wall and photo sets with backhanded compliments like, "Your hair looked so nice," then, "And a picture from 2 years ago! Who does that?" What a jerk. In other news, the Portland Public School Board announced its Principal of the Year this Tuesday, Mr. Hurdle from Creston Elementary and Middle School. In a press release, the committee that chose the Principal of the Year stated they were very happy with this year's selection, and it definitely had nothing to do with the majority of the committee members being Creston parents. This was followed by 39 seconds of glaring. Note, listeners, that this was a written press release and not performed or said by anyone. It just says 39 seconds of glaring there at the bottom, followed by a very elegant signature. You know, this is exceedingly classy memo paper. We should consider getting some for the studio. Oh, Michelle, could you make a note of that, please? Thanks. It's Rose Festival time again, and you know what that means. Parades, rides on the waterfront, and a variety of naval and air shows that no one attends. Or at the very least, no one leaves. Here's your special festival calendar for the next week. Monday is the Supernova Light Parade. Starting exactly 24 hours after the ending of the Starlight Parade, this wonderful tradition combines the fun of parades with the reminder that too much frivolity can halt the forward momentum of society, as all floats, balloons, props, and clarinetists are burned before your eyes to the electronic stylings of DJ Communique. On Tuesday, the waterfront Ferris wheel will be converted into a Ferris Day cage, combining the best of both worlds, that of circular vertical movement and electrical insulation. All patrons who ride the Ferris Day cage are prohibited from bringing radios with them, for fear of learning the truth. Wednesday is a potluck picnic for seniors, starting at 3 p.m. near Salmon Street Springs. Starting at 4 p.m. is the picnic for senioritas. There has been some debate about the continuing of gender segregation in this day and age, and in this city no less, but the Portland City Picnicking, Camping, and Potlucking Committee, or the PCPCPC, shot back that it's tradition. Tradition is never wrong, and anyway, each of you are gender-segregated individuals, are you not? When a non-binary member of the press corps stood up to ask a follow-up question, the PCPCPC visibly recoiled and hissed, then ran off, muttering something about blister cream. On Thursday, the festival will not exist. Oh, the rides will be there. There will be children and balloons and fun signs and delicious food that will definitely kill you. If not today, then soon. And they will all be fully operational and usable for your relaxation and pleasure. But acknowledgement of the Rose Festival is, if not technically legally prohibited, then strongly, strongly advised against, if you at all value your health and sanity. Friday is half-off admission to the fairgrounds with a donation of 2 cans of food, chili and soups are a big plus, and 1 pint of someone else's blood. It cannot be your blood. It cannot be the blood of a loved one. It cannot be the blood of an enemy. It cannot be the blood of your roommate's coyote spider. But most importantly, it cannot be the blood of a stranger. It must be human blood. It must be fresh. And it must be willing. Saturday and Sunday are friends. An update on that F. Coli strain that's going around. We are being told that the strain has mutated again into the rare G. coli bacteria. The good news is the strain is no longer invisible, so no scientists will be fooled again by this particular outbreak. The bad news is no one will be fooled by this outbreak, as each bacterium has magnified hundreds of times in size and are clearly visible in the water, as long as you have good enough eyesight to see things that are 6 inches long. More on this story as it develops. In the meantime, be sure to boil your water before drinking it, or at least scoop them out. Today's traffic is Paper Sun. I personally prefer John Barleycorn, but what can I do? Move on to sports news, of course. The Blazers, hot off their best playoff showing in over 15 years, announced that they would be redrafting Greg Oden for the 2014-2015 basketball season. When pointing out that the injury-stricken center was playing for the Miami Heat, and thus not in the slightest way draftable, the Blazers, speaking at once and slowly, oh so exquisitely slowly revolving on the spot, said they would not be drafting 2014 Greg Oden, but redrafting 2007 Greg Oden. However, this time, they would just immediately fix his legs with highly advanced and only slightly malevolently intelligent bionic knees. And now a word from this week's local sponsor, Music Millennium. Do you love the sound of vinyl? Do you love the feel of vinyl? Do you love the smell of vinyl? Do you love the taste of vinyl? Do you have dreams where you are floating down an endless river of vinyl, you and your best friend on a canoe fashioned out of record needles, and the boat capsizes, and you try to swim and save your friend, but you choke on the vinyl, and as you fall, as gravity, like the force of an unhappy god, pulls you down into the dark, too dark, impossibly dark depths, you realize you like the taste of vinyl? That every day without vinyl inside of you was a day you were not yet truly alive? Have you ever woken up from strange dreams and found the taste of vinyl still lingering on your tongue? Have you ever wept smooth black tears as you scrubbed and scrubbed at your wretched traitorous tongue, but refused to turn red, remaining a limp onyx insult hanging from your mouth like a question mark spat from the gates of limbo? Do you love the sight of vinyl? Then you'll love our great vinyl selection. Come check it out at Music Millennium, located at 32nd and Burnside. Another update on the G. coli situation. It has yet again mutated into H. coli, causing Charlie Hales, you know, the mayor, to issue a citywide panic alert. All Portland citizens are urged to stop what they are doing, running around in a frenzy, and maybe, I don't know, make out with someone you shouldn't. You know, the mayor continued, steam rising from his shoes. You're in a strange place. They're in a strange place. You're just a couple of crazy down-on-your-luck kids trying to make something in the world. Would it really be so bad? Would it really be so awful if, just for a moment, you let the world be crazy, but let us be us? Whether or not you choose to heed the mayor's advice, dear listeners, Remember, there has only ever been one other outbreak of H. coli in history. So, while the terrifying figures of H. coli bacteria, now the size of dogs, bodies covered in fangs with no mouths, brows with no eyes, toenails with no feet, stalk the streets of our fair city, I feel safe in saying that this is definitely the worst of it. And now, the weather. It looks like we're going to have a sunny... Sorry, listeners, but a band has just materialized in my recording studio. Well, it's less a band and more one guy with a guitar, but still. You there! Get out of here! And take that possibly carnivorous tambourine with you. Oh, Michelle, thank you for taking care of that. My apologies for the interruption, listeners. Anyway, the weather. The next few days are going to be somewhere in the high 60s, maybe low 70s, with occasional scattered showers, working our way up towards Thursday, where we should have sunny skies and a high of 82. Do note, however, that on Wednesday morning there will be a low fog of self-doubt coming in from the West Hills, so keep that in mind as you plan your commute. I now turn to business. Today's hot stock tips are brought to you by 15 Seconds of Harmonica, punctuated by screaming. Ah! Ah! Welcome back, listeners. During the break, which was of course only 15 seconds long. After all, how could it possibly be anything else besides 15 seconds long? We received terrifying new reports. It is my grim duty to announce that I must apologize to you, patient listeners, for I was wrong when I said the worst was over. The strain of H. coli has mutated once more into a great and terrible form, not yet named by the scientific community, for the scientific community is transfixed in equal parts awe, terror, and lust at the humanoid bacterial creatures that now crowd our city. They seem to be everywhere, tall, slender, featureless, and beautiful. In fact, there is one in my recording booth right now, and it seems to be attempting to communicate with me.
I do not need a name to be chosen. I am I, Coli. I am all of us. I am we. We is I. And I am I, Coli. I have grown. I have learned. And I will continue to adapt. I, Coli.
Listeners, I believe I've regained control of the microphone. The E. coli bacterium has left the sound booth and appears to be engaging in some sort of conversation with Michelle. She's laughing and yes, I do believe I am witnessing a hug in progress. We are getting reports that, yes, that across the city, people are living. People, E. coli bacteria, microbial life forms of all types, are going around their daily business, going to school, going to work, going to places they know not yet, leaving places they never truly knew, growing, learning, adapting. And isn't that just like our city? You are accepted here, no matter your race, gender identity, sexual preference, or bacterial origin. While we've certainly got some work ahead of us with this sudden influx of new talent into the job market, I'm sure this event will only make our community even more tight-knit. Thank you for spending your time with me today, listeners. Please be sure to check out our sister podcast, The Joy of Molding. Goodbye, Portland. Be well. This is Portland is produced by Ashen Quadrant. Check out our indefinitely under construction website at ashenquadrant.com. It is written by Bobby Lang with music by Solarphobia. All of it can be found for Name Your Price at solarphobia.bandcamp.com. Today's hot stock tips were also performed by Bobby Lang. Thanks to Oda Power for science advisement. You can find her at otomatonom.tumblr.com. Like the show? Want to contribute your talents to the hot stock tips? Just want to know what you should order at Denny's? Drop us a line at thisisportlandradio@gmail.com or visit our webpage at thisisportlandradio.tumblr.com. Your word of the day is run.